Okay, guys, let's talk about the Musketeers. No, 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 not those Musketeers. These Musketeers. Hey guys, I'm Rick. This is the show where we talk about movies and TV, and I want to talk to you guys about a show called The Musketeers. If you haven't heard of it, stick around. This is good stuff. Let's get into it.
The Musketeers is a British period action drama. It's a program based on the characters from the Alexandre Dumas 1844 novel, The Three Musketeers, and it's co-produced by BBC America and BBC Worldwide. The series follows the Musketeers Athos, Aramis, and Porthos as they serve King Louis and citizens of the 17th century Paris. The first episode was shown on BBC One January 19th of 2014. And this show stars Tom Burke as Athos, Santiago Cabrera as Aramis, and Howard Charles as Porthos, as well as Luke Pasqualino as D'Artagnan and Tamala Carey as Constance Bonacieux. And also features Mamie McCoy as Milady de Winter and Ryan Gage as Louis XIII. This show was produced by Jessica Pope and Adrian Hodges for the BBC, and it was largely filmed in the Czech Republic. In February of 2015, it was announced that the show had been renewed for a third season, and it was also announced in April of 2016 that third season would be its last. So this was one of those shows that knew ahead of time that they were going to end after the third season, so they were able to wrap it up. And I'm so happy when shows get that time. You hate watching shows that just abruptly end on cliffhangers, leave you hanging, and they don't answer all the questions that you want answered, especially after you've invested so much time in watching them. So basically, in the 1630s in Paris, Athos, Aramis, and Porthos are a group of highly trained musketeers commanded by Captain Trevel, who meet D'Artagnan, a skillful farm boy who hopes of becoming a musketeer. And the series follows them as they fight to protect king and country. Now, a lot of people wonder why they filmed in the Czech Republic. Paris was not considered as a filming location because over the decades, development had detracted from the grittier architecture that the producers wanted. Dublin was considered before settling on the Czech Republic, which suffered little damage during the two world wars. Many historic buildings were intact and privately owned. Stately homes were rented for filming as well. Also during the first season of this show, Peter Capaldi played the Cardinal. However, he had learned during filming that he'd been given the role as the 12th Doctor in the Doctor Who series. Lo and behold, he left the show after the first season. So for seasons 2 and 3, there were some cast changes. Now, initially there was some mixed reviews from critics on this. Take that with a grain of salt, because when it comes to critics, sometimes I wonder if they really watch the same thing that we see. I liked the show from the outset, and I will say this, most of the critics who didn't particularly care for it after watching the first few episodes did see and notice growth with the characters as it went along. So I guess it's one of those things where it took them a few episodes to come around. And this was a really fun show. A lot of action, a lot of adventure. It's not something that you have to really sit down and think it through all the time. It's not as cerebral as most shows would try to be or claim to be. This was a fun show, and you knew from the outset it was going to be fun. That isn't to say there wasn't a lot of dramatic sides to the story. There were, and they were mixed in carefully, and they weren't shoehorned, and they weren't forced on us. That's one of the other things that made this show work really, really well. There were no heavy-handed stories. They weren't trying to shove anything down our throats. they gave us just what we wanted. A good fun ride. Each season had 10 episodes, so it was a total of 30 episodes altogether. Season 1 went from January 19th of 2014 to March 30th of the same year. Season 2 went from January 2nd of 2015 to March 27th. And then the third and final season went from May 28th of 2016 to August 1st of 2016. Now, the show originally aired on BBC One and BBC America. You can also see it on BBC First. I, being from America, was able to watch it on Hulu. It is still on Hulu to this day, and you can also catch it on Netflix in Canada. And I'm going to use this word again, fun, because if it's action you want, if it's adventure, if it's just plain fun and something you don't want to have to think about or overthink, this is the show for you. It's got a lot of sword fights, a lot of physical action. It's not overly violent. It's not grotesque in any way. It's just plain fun. I highly recommend The Musketeers.
Alright, so that's The Musketeers. If you've heard of it, leave me a comment below. Let me know what you thought of the show. It was really short. I wish they had done more, but it's one of those cases where I'm glad that they had the story they told. They didn't drag it out. It made perfect sense, and it ended on a great note. As always, like, share, and subscribe, because I got more good content coming in the future. Please hit that bell for notifications. That way you never miss an episode. And stay positive, stay blessed. I'll see you soon.